Hi there, and welcome back to Fundamentals of Programming. This is Lesson 9. Today we are going to talk about operators. Now, if you'll remember from Lesson 8, I introduced you to an operator called the assignment operator. It takes whatever is on the right-hand side of the assignment operator, which is this equal sign, and assigns that value to the variable on the left-hand side. The order of operation is from right to left. Now we have many other operators that we can use within our code to do different things. We have some arithmetic operators to perform mathematical calculations, and then we have an operator that allows us to take two or more strings and join them together to create one larger string. So these are the operators that we are going to talk about today, and we will start with the basic arithmetic operators. Now, if you understand basic math, and I assume you do, then this is going to be boring because this is going to be review. So we're just going to blow past some of the easy stuff and then focus on more advanced things. On line 1, we are assigning the value of 33 to the num variable. Well, what if we want to perform some type of arithmetic operation? Let's say that we want to add the number 32 or the number 33 with some other value. Well, all we have to do is use the addition operator, which is, guess what? The plus sign, and then whatever number that we want to add to it. Let's add the number 2. So we have two operations going on in line 1. We have this assignment operation, and then we have this addition operation. So what happens first in this particular case? Well, the right-hand side of the assignment operator, this is what we call an expression. Before we had the plus 2, we just had a simple value. But once we added the plus sign and then the number 2, we have an expression. And in this expression, we have an operator. This operator is going to add whatever's on the left-hand side of the operator to whatever's on the right-hand side of the operator. So it's going to take 33 plus 2, we'll get the value of 35, and then that value is going to be assigned to the num variable. So the order of operation is whatever's on the right-hand side gets evaluated first, in this case the addition operation, and then the result of that operation is assigned to the num variable. The next operator is the subtraction operator, which is the minus sign. So it's going to subtract 2 from 33, which is 31, which is assigned to the num variable. Next is multiplication. In math class, you might have used the x or a dot. We don't use either of those. We use the asterisk. That is going to multiply the two together, which is 66, and then assign that to the num variable. Next is division, which is a slash. 33 divided by 2. It's going to get that quotient and then assign that to the num variable. So we are blowing through this, and this is going to be just a tad bit more complex, but not really, because this follows all of the rules that you learned in math class. So here we have a more complex expression. 33 plus 2 minus 10 multiplied by 4. Well, if you remember from math class, there is an order of operation. It goes multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. I learned it as my dear Aunt Sally. So in that case, we can use the same order of operation here. We perform multiplication first, which is going to be negative 10 times 4, which is going to be negative 40, and then we perform everything else. So that's going to be 33 plus 2, which is going to be 35, and then that is going to be subtracted from 40. So let's alert this num, and what did I say? 40, so this should be negative 5. If we run this within the browser, let's find lesson 9, run it, we should see the value of negative 5. There we go. But just like in math class, we can change the order of operation by using parentheses. So that changes it to please, my dear Aunt Sally. And let's say that we wanted to perform the 2 minus 10 first. Well, we just simply surround that with parentheses. Then the subtraction operation is going to execute first, so that's going to be negative 8, and then everything else just goes normally. So it will be negative 8 times 4, which will be negative 32, and then we will add 33 to that, which is actually subtracting 32 from 33. So now the value will be 1 that is displayed in the alert box. So let's go back to the browser. Let's refresh. There we go. We have 1. So that's it for arithmetic. I told you we were going to blow through it, and there we go. So it's just like math class. If you need a refresher, just play around with it because you can't break anything. Now let's play with strings. So let's create another variable, str. That's typically what I name a string if I'm just going to throw it away. And let's assign it a value of hello. Well, let's say that we want to add another string to this value. Now, we could easily just do hello world within one string, but that's not interesting. We want to join hello and world together. 2 independent strings, but we want to turn that into a larger string. Well, we have an operator that essentially adds 2 strings together, and that is the plus sign. But we don't say that we are adding strings together. We use a technical term called concatenate. We are concatenating 2 strings together. And whenever you are dealing with strings, the plus sign is called the concatenation operator. So in this case, we are going to concatenate hello and world, and that is going to give us a new string that is hello world, which is going to be assigned to the str variable. So let's do alert str, and let's view this within the browser. Now this is going to give us a string hello world with no formatting whatsoever. Concatenation does not do anything for you except concatenate the strings together. There's no formatting added. So we need to add the formatting ourselves. So let's do comma space after hello, and then we can add an exclamation point after world. If we go back and view this in the browser, then we will see hello comma space world and then an exclamation point. Well, let's make this just a little bit more interesting. Let's add a number. Some languages would give us an error. It would see that we are trying to add a string and a number together, and it would say, nuh-uh, not gonna do it. But JavaScript likes a challenge. It's one of those kids that does whatever it is that you tell it that it cannot do. Without going into all of the technical details, what actually happens here is the hello world is concatenated together first. So let's go ahead and just do that so that we can visually see this. And then it sees that we have a string and a number. So it converts the number to a string because that always works. You can't always convert a string to a number because, like in this case, hello world, that does not accurately go into a number or convert to a number. But you can always convert a number to a string. So it converts the number to a string, and then it concatenates the 2 together. So if we view this within the browser, we will see hello comma space world exclamation point 6. So here we go. Let's refresh, and there we go. We get 6. And let's just add one more. Let's do +1. This is going to give us the same result, except it's going to have 1 at the end. Because once we concatenate hello world with 6, that's what's going to happen, then it's going to have to convert the number 1 to a string to concatenate that with the hello world and then 6. If we wanted to actually perform 6 plus 1 before the string concatenation, we would have to use parentheses like this. So if we wanted to do that, go back, and then we have hello world 7. But let's get rid of the parentheses, and we can see that it will say hello world 6.1. So let's just refresh. Wrong key, and there we go, hello world 6.1. Now, we don't have to use these operators just with literal values. We can use them with variables as well. So let's change this to num because it's a little bit easier to work with numbers as opposed to strings. So let's do var num equals 1. But now let's say that we want to create another variable and we want to say num plus 3. That is going to get the value of num, which is 1, and then add 3 to it, which is going to be 4. So if we alert sum, that's going to show us 4 within the alert box. Now it's important to note that num is not modified at all. After line 2 executes, num is still containing the value of 1 because we haven't changed that value. But we can easily do that by num equals num plus sum or whatever value. I'm choosing sum so that you can see that we can use nothing but variables within an expression. So this is going to take the value of num, which is 1, and then take the value of sum, which is 4, add the two together, and then assign that new value to num. So num then is going to contain the value of 5. So let's go back, view this in the browser, and there we go, we have the value of 5. Now we have a shorthand version of this num equals num plus sum. And instead of doing it this way, we can simply just do num plus equals sum. That is the same thing, it's just a little bit shorter. So let's save this, run this in the browser. We will see once again that num contains the value of 5. And those are the operators that we use to manipulate values within our code. In lesson 10, we are going to continue to look at operators, except we are going to look at what are called conditional operators. They allow us to essentially compare values with other values in order to perform some decisions within our code. We'll get to actual decisions in lesson 11, but we'll look at how to perform the conditions that decisions are based upon in lesson 10. So have a good one. I will see you next time.